Welcome to the Reformed Stoic Podcast. Have a seat, grab a drink. Here we discuss politics, religion, current events, philosophy, and everything else that matters. Pull up a chair, get cozy. I'm your host, Reformed Stoic. Let's get started. What's up, guys? Reformed Stoic here. Alright, I got an interesting show for you today. Hope everybody's doing well. I believe this is podcast number 85. We've been doing this for a while now. It's been on and off. Right now, these are not scheduled. It's just kind of whenever I feel so inclined to do this. These are not running live. I pre-record these and then premiere them, and then I tend to watch them with my audience. I very much enjoy doing that. I just think in terms of quality, so we don't run into like technical issues. It's a little bit easier for me to monitor what's said in the chat. Things might get a little bit crazy live, and this is just kind of the classiest way to do things, guys. I'm kind of happy that the podcast is back. This is just like a way for me to be creative and spend my time wisely and create some content. So the topic for today is semen retention. I am on day 5 today. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling motivated. I'm trying to just, encourage myself to keep going, but also prepare myself to know that it's not the end of the world if I fall off. I've never made it longer than 10 days, I believe. I believe my longest streak was, I think it was in 2018. It might have been 2017. It was when I was going to UNLV. I made it for 10 days. I was feeling like the man around school, just feeling very secure in myself. And eventually I fell off. And, those first couple of days after you fall off are always rough. So I was pretty selective with the videos that I chose. I didn't want things to be too long. I'm avoiding videos that focus on doing this as a means of being more attractive to women. Now, I'm sure a couple of these guys are going to make that point. That's not anything I have a problem with. Maybe you will be more attractive to women. Maybe there's something real to that. But that's not the reason we're doing this. That's not the reason I encourage it. Ultimately, you guys, we're Christians around here. I'm a Roman Catholic. And fornication is a sin. Masturbation is a sin. And first and foremost, we are doing this to please God, to live a life that is more guilt-free and innocent. And some of the things I've been noticing, just this morning, I was doing my liturgical hours app, listening to prayers and praying along with it, playing with my cats, and I just felt innocent. It felt good to just be like, hey, you know what? I'm not doing anything wrong right now. So, I got an interesting selection of videos here. I think this might be one of the shorter podcasts, but we'll see. We got a little bit of everything. And with that, buckle up, buckaroos. We're just going to go ahead and get it going for the news segment. There's only one news clip today, but it's the news segment, buddy. Here we go. You're listening to the Reformed Stoic News segment. Let's go! Ooh. How are we doing? Recording, mic check, got the mic going. Everything's rocking and rolling. I think we're ready to skid it. Okay, my friends. Okay, everything's looking good. So first up, we got this guy. I've been talking about this guy on my live streams. Evan Gill. Smaller channel, 1.65K subs. I think this guy's very wise. I've enjoyed some of his stories and his insights. Now, this video is how I pulled myself out of a deep, dark depression. Now, this is a semen retention channel. Maybe he wouldn't summarize it that way, but he has a lot of videos on that topic. And I have a feeling that that's going to come up in this video. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with this guy. Here we go.
Hey guys, so I know I haven't done a longer video in a while. I've mostly just been doing the shorts and been focusing on posting those to like Instagram and TikTok and stuff, but I wanted to check in with my YouTube following, and I wanted to do this longer video, and I wanted to talk about something that's
just trying to get the levels going here. We're going to be okay today. Let's go.
It's really important to me and that I think can potentially help a lot of people. And it might give my shorter videos a little more context, and it may help you to understand some of the things that I talk about in those a little bit more. So I don't really have much of an agenda here, so excuse me if I'm kind of all over the place. But I think if you follow along with me, things will make sense. I'm going to try to keep things as concise as possible without rambling too much. I just want to make some quick points and expand on them a little bit. So I was depressed for most of my life. I would say it started around when I had a big move. When I was around, I would say 10. I moved to like another part of my state, and it was just all...
Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. His voice is a little bit grating. It seems like maybe his voice was a little bit lost today. Let's try 125. We might even do 1.5.
Completely new to me. It was very scary, and that's when I noticed a lot of like insecurities, a lot of depressive thoughts, a lot of social anxiety started to kind of manifest inside of me. I didn't really understand it at the time when I was young. I didn't really understand depression and things like that. I don't think my parents really did or knew what that's what it was. But anyway, to make a long story short, I was very depressed from a young age all the way until about 27. And during this time there was a lot of social anxiety, a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of I didn't feel like I was good enough at anything, or everybody was better than me, those kinds of things. A lot of loneliness, a lot of social anxiety, like very afraid to leave my house sometimes, to go do simple things like go to the store, things like that. Just a lot of emotions that I was dealing with. And there was a lot of drug use in there, there was a lot of alcohol use, a lot of trying to escape my pain in a variety of different ways. When I was about 18, I discovered lifting weights, and a lot changed for me at that point. I found this to be a very helpful outlet for what I was feeling. It made me feel really good. It made me feel very alive. But the problem was when I would take time off from lifting weights, I would go back to feeling depressed. So it didn't really get to the root of the problem. It wasn't until I was 27 where I finally found something that made sense to me and really worked for me. And this was mindfulness meditation, which I do talk about a lot.
Someday I'll have a home gym, boyos. Like, yeah, lifting weights works wonders for me and what a lot of people say. And this guy even said in a later video that eventually he just started working out at home. Very common. There's a competitive atmosphere at the gym. Big dudes like, hey, bro, can you spot me? You know, girls, yoga pants, social pressure. Now there's the whole, like, if you look at a girl's butt, maybe she's, like, filming you for TikTok. And I know a lot of guys are like, that's excuses and blah, blah, blah. Personally, me, I got my little, like, boxing LARP going. I really like the way I'm working out right now. But, you know, if things ever take off for me and I can, like, splurge a little bit for my dream home, I'm going to have a home gym. Let's keep going. This guy's voice is probably not too bad if you're not wearing headphones. Real shame. Maybe I should have, like, watched a little bit of this video beforehand. But we're going to power through, guys. Yeah, his voice is just grating a little bit. It's not always like that. It just sounds like he's lost his voice a little bit. Maybe it doesn't bother you guys as much as it bothers me. We should be all right.
Somebody had given me a book called The Art of Power by Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a Vietnamese monk, very famous for mindfulness. He just died recently. He has like over 100 books. And The Art of Power was really interesting because it opened my eyes to the idea that the past does not exist. The past does not exist. It's nothing more than thoughts in our mind. The future does not exist. It's nothing more than thoughts in our mind. And I mean, I guess this is obvious, but when you read it, when it really like sinks in and you really more than just conceptually get it, when you really internalize that everything is just thoughts in our mind, it really opens up something for you. And that's what...
Yeah, it's a common wisdom that I've heard a long time ago. Depression comes from thinking about the past, wishing things could have been different, regretting actions that you made in the past, and then anxiety comes from the future. I saw a documentary where there's a tale, there's like some Eastern tale. I think it might have been a Confucian tale. There's a guy who is hanging off of a cliff, and there are lions at the bottom of the cliff waiting for him to fall. Or no, maybe it's like lions at the top of the cliff, and then if he falls off of the cliff, he's just going to die. So the lions at the top of the cliff represent the past, and then the fall to his death represents the future. But then there's these berries that are right in front of his face, and that represents the present moment. And yeah, ultimately, especially when it comes to semen retention, you're going to want to stay in the present moment. Now, sometimes that sounds bad. Like if you're living for the moment, that's like, oh, dude, just do this cocaine because it's the present moment, going to clubs, partying. Sometimes people can say, living for the now amounts to that. But when you're living in the present moment, then you're not worrying about how hard your journey is going to be. There's going to be a lot of anxiety. And then I've noticed a lot of like fear of missing out is what I've seen for myself, is what a lot of masturbation is based in. And you just got to understand that it's all an illusion. The idea that you're getting something positive from masturbation is an illusion. Gosh, this guy's voice in the video is just really bumming me out. We're gonna try to power through this, guys. We might do 1.5.
What happened to me, and this is what happens to a lot of people when they have a spiritual awakening. They start understanding that the present moment is all that really exists. And that is when I started practicing mindfulness. This was the first step that I took to really do something to overcome my depression, instead of just laying around all day, trying to find quick little temporary fixes, trying to latch on to other people.
All these external things will never work to get rid of things like depression. So what I did was I committed to mindfulness. I had faith. I really had a feeling that this was going to help me. And I sat down every single day between 20 and 60 minutes, just breathed normally in through my nose and out through my nose. And I just focused all of my awareness on my breath. I did this every single day. I made a commitment to it. You have to commit. It's the type of the thing that's going to work. It's not going to work if you just try it once. Might not even work after a couple of weeks. Okay, so he's just recommending meditation. The voice is driving me insane. We at least got a break from it.
Things like meditation. So after practicing mindfulness for about a week or two, I really started to see a difference in the way that I felt. Everything was becoming less. I was less emotional. I was less depressed. I was less anxious. I had less intrusive thoughts. And it just gave me like a little bit of hope. It gave me a little glimmer of hope that I finally found something that maybe really is going to work for me.
So I'm starting to open my mind back up to meditation around here. Before I became a Christian, I got really into it. I tried a number of things. I'm able to sit in the full lotus position. That's probably not something I'm ever going to do again. I might decide that it just doesn't matter. But, I find a lot of Catholic priests who highly recommend that you don't do yoga poses at all because they venerate Hindu gods. Maybe I'll just do some research on the full lotus position and make sure it's like not related to yoga or something. Because it was something unique that I could do and it felt interesting. And I will say this, I've tried a couple of meditation sessions again. I like to put on Catholic chants, like Catholic monks, and then I do a little prayer before, a little prayer after, just to make sure it's centered in Christ and then I'm not opening up my mind to demons or anything. But what I've noticed is if I do it on the couch and I like lean against the back of the couch, it starts to feel a little bit too much like almost a nap. Sometimes when I'm really tired, I'll fall asleep like sitting up on the couch. I want it to feel a little bit more focused, so I tend to either want to like sit on the edge of the couch, and hold my back straight, or maybe just sit on the ground with like crisscross applesauce. But I might decide that I want to go ahead and do the full lotus position again, because I just want to have that like disciplined, focused feeling to it. And, go ahead and keep going with the Catholic chants. Sometimes I might just put lo-fi on, and I'm not going to do it for an extremely extended period of time. I think I'll do like Wim Hof breathing beforehand, and then maybe shoot for like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But I have gotten to a point, because I've been thinking about this for years, I've gotten to a point where I feel that meditation is a positive thing. It's going to help you control your thoughts. I even came up with a hypothetical syllogism argument. If meditation helps you control your thoughts, and controlling your thoughts helps you avoid sexual temptation, then you should meditate to avoid sexual temptation. That's kind of like, I'd have to word it a little bit differently for it to be a perfect hypothetical syllogism, but that's the gist of it. So let's keep going with this. I'm kind of eager to get through this. I'm bummed that this guy's voice is grating in the video.
I continued practicing mindfulness. I practiced mindfulness every day. This became a staple in my routine. So at this point in time, mindfulness was a huge part of my life, and reading other spiritual books, like just spirituality in general, Eckhart Tolle, Alan Watts, The Untethered Soul, all these big popular spiritual books that really help a lot of people. I read all of them, and they really changed my life. And things finally started to make more sense to me. I was like, spirituality is the key for me. This is it. And spirituality was my whole life at this time. It was all I really cared about, because it was what was really helping me to feel better. So
this guy might end up being a Christian someday. I know he's in like a kind of an all over the place spiritual place right now, which is kind of a dangerous place to be. It could lead to occultism, but I just left him a comment on one of his latest videos, just kind of like kindly recommending some of the wisdom of Christianity. I told him to check out the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 7, Galatians, fruits of the Spirit versus fruits of the flesh. Showed him that there's like a lot of similarities, and just planting that little seed, see what happens. I think this is a cool dude.
So then from there, I discovered Letting Go by David Hawkins, which if you watch a lot of my videos, I talk about it.
Yeah, Letting Go by David Hawkins. Somebody recommended that to me in a semen retention thread, and that's how I found this guy. This guy has a video. He has a few videos describing that method, and that's probably something I'm going to look into a little bit more down the line.
Lot I'm a huge advocate of, and this is when I started getting into inner healing. I was like, okay, mindfulness definitely helped me to improve a lot, but there was still something missing. Like I still felt a little piece of me that was missing. I had always felt very lost. I felt very lonely. It was a very intrinsic kind of loneliness. It wasn't like just I was lonely because I didn't have people around, because sometimes having my friends around didn't even make me feel better. Sometimes it made me feel worse. So the point is, mindfulness alone didn't really do the trick. I needed something more. And when I discovered Letting Go, what I've come to realize, that I had so much stored trauma inside of me. I had so many stored emotions that I never let myself feel from when I was a child. I had a very volatile childhood, and there was a lot going on at that time, and it started to all make sense. And this is when I started learning about trauma, and I started understanding how this affects us physically as opposed to just mentally. People think trauma is just like you have one traumatic event and that sticks in your mind and that's it. Trauma stores in you physiologically. If you read the book The Body Keeps the Score, and Letting Go talks about it, there's a lot of books on this. How trauma is stored in us, and it's a lot of emotions that are like stored deep we trap them inside of our body. So once I started doing Letting Go, and I started allowing myself to just fucking feel everything, this is what was the ultimate game changer for me. This is when I started to realize.
Yeah, there's debate there whether or not like trauma stays in your body. I would definitely approach it from a less metaphysical standpoint, and the stress associated with trauma and the repeating rising feelings of trauma from the past, rising memories of trauma from the past. It damages you. Those negative feelings are going to give you these kind of, I guess you'd say, medical issues, and just, it's a negative thing. I would at least recommend trying TRE exercises, trauma release exercises. I'm going to have to get back into that. I'm trying to get everything going again. I let the shower go to cold for a little bit yesterday, trying to prep myself for cold baths again. Man, part of me wishes I would have just stayed in that. It wasn't that long ago that I was doing cold baths every day for like a couple of weeks. I recommend trying to get to like 60 seconds in the cold shower, because that cold bath is going to destroy you if you can't even do that yet. So, TRE, trauma release exercises. And I think there's some kind of like metaphysical practice behind that, metaphysical theories behind that. As far as like if trauma is like negative energy in the body that you store up, I don't know. I'm not going to put my foot down and say that I know it's not. The bottom line is it's negative, and getting over trauma is a positive thing. So let's keep going. We're almost done here. This is not so bad. Maybe it's like bothering me, dude. Maybe it's just me.
That this was what the problem all along. This is why I couldn't concentrate in school when I was younger. This is why I couldn't develop healthy relationships with people. This is why I was so anxious all the time. I had all of these trapped emotions. And similar to mindfulness, letting go is something that you have to stick with consistently. It's not the type of thing you do once or twice and think, oh, this doesn't work, or maybe it even helps you a little bit and you're like, okay, now I'm good. This is something that it has to be ongoing. It has to be something you do consistently. I still practice letting go. From when I discovered it 2 years ago, I still practice it every single day. So mindfulness, letting go, those were the two biggest things that have helped pull me out of depression. And just some advice with the letting go technique, this is what really helped me the most. Just throughout the day, I would just constantly remind myself to just relax my body and just bring everything inside. Don't focus on anything out and external. Don't let your mind get caught up on anything. Just physically relax and just bring everything to your heart. Just focus all of your awareness on your heart. I promise if you do this consistently throughout the day, every single day, it's going to be a life changer. So at this point, it was mindfulness, it was letting go, and then it was some other spiritual teachings like non-duality. Self-inquiry was a huge one. Self-inquiry is the practice of focusing all of your attention or your awareness inward.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people mentioning non-duality. In my last semen retention thread, there was someone who said that they're a Catholic, but they also like integrate the beliefs of non-duality. I'll have to look into that. I'm not off the top of my head familiar with what that is, but I have a feeling it's probably not for me as a Catholic, but yeah, we're just kind of hearing some of these people out, Maybe I don't agree with everything that this guy says right now. Personally, I think this guy's probably like at the beginning of a spiritual journey that might possibly lead to Jesus Christ.
You want to just turn everything in. Like if you practice mindfulness, you focus all of your awareness on your breath. Turn that awareness into yourself and try to find this sense of like existence, this sense of I. I'll make a separate video. It's a little more detailed. And the other thing, if you're suffering from depression, is you have to stay very vigilant with the practical things that you do. So exercising, waking up at a certain time every day, eating very healthy organic food, getting sunlight, all of those things that everybody talks about. It's easy to let our mind take control when we're feeling very depressed. And it's very, very important that you stay vigilant and you stay on top of this. You have to make these practices the main part of your day. It has to be the most important thing. It has to be more important. Meditating has to be more important than spending time with anybody else, your career. You have to just wake up and meditate every single day, I promise you. There is no other way. Also, the other thing that helped me a lot was finding a really good therapist. Somebody that
I really do believe that meditation can be a positive thing. It's very cloudy with Christians. Overall Christians will tell you to stay away from it. It's Eastern. And, especially when you're doing void, you're clearing your thoughts, you're making room for like demons to possess you or something. Just little things like praying beforehand, praying afterwards, having a good idea of why you're doing it. It's like strengthening your thought muscles so that you can control your wandering thoughts. For example, I don't want to say I got a bad sleep last night. I slept more on like the 6.5 hours range, and maybe those last like hour and a half was kind of like lying in bed, just relaxing, trying to be asleep. I'm probably about to just give in and start taking melatonin every night. I take melatonin, I sleep through the night. I don't, it's hard for me to sleep longer than like 6 hours, sometimes like 4.5, but I did manage to get back to sleep. Probably got closer to 5.5 to 6 hours. But what happened when I just kept trying to sleep, I eventually started having sexual fantasies. I eventually started like playing little like pornos in my head. It's like, okay, we got to get up. We got to start moving around because this is going to a negative place. When those kind of thoughts start coming up, you can flex your mind muscle and think about something else. And that's what some people are saying, transmuting the energy. Transmuting the sexuality. They're saying like if you're doing semen retention and you're just trying to push it down, you're just trying to say, nope, don't think about that, think about something else, and you're not able to transmute it, that's when you're going to inevitably fall. You need to, like, when that sexual feeling and those sexual thoughts arise, rather than just pushing it down, you need to change that thought. Like, immediately push those thoughts away and bring something else up and transmute that energy. It sounds kind of like bullcrap. It sounds maybe like, dude, what kind of a direction are you going in right now, Stoic? This is something that's kind of fresh for me, and all of these kind of like revisiting spirituality, it's something that popped up when I got into semen retention. Look, the Catholic Church does not want you masturbating. Some of them are trying to claim that it's a mortal sin and it will take you out of a state of grace and put you at risk for damnation. This is serious stuff. This battle against masturbation is serious. I'm taking it seriously, and the concept I'm running with is like, you know, an over focus on just don't do it because it's bad might make it harder than it needs to be, because when you start focusing on this is doing something positive for you, this is elevating you spiritually, which I do not think isn't biblical. I think, you know, you're going to be in a state of grace, you're going to be more innocent and childlike, and there's some sort of reality to elevating spiritually through Christ, you know, with Christ-centered, Christ-focused. This is some kind of new territory for me, but I'm kind of excited about it. So we're almost done with this guy. We spent a lot of time already. We're almost 30 minutes deep, and we haven't even got through the first video.
That I can just open up and express everything to, because what this did was it allowed me to explore my past a little bit more, and I was able to sort of figure things out, and everything sort of started to unravel, and it started to make more sense. And when you kind of identify the past, once you've processed the emotions and then you start identifying the past for what it really is, you can sort of reframe it, and it no longer has any hold over you. So as always, please reach out to me if you have any questions. You can get me on.
Okay, so he didn't say anything about semen retention. That's fine. This channel eventually does delve into semen retention, so this is all the stuff that kind of led him there. He recommended going to a psychologist. This guy is a psych major, just so you know. He graduated with a psych degree. So this is kind of like this lane that he's going for to, you know, mental health, helping people. He's very spiritual. You know, we've watched some of this guy's videos on my channel. He's interesting to look into. We'll just go ahead and finish this out, and then I'll show you some of his other videos. We're not going to watch them, but just the titles.
Instagram, which I'll put below. But just to recap, mindfulness, letting go, staying on top of the practical things like exercising, sunlight, drinking water, eating healthy, therapy, and also journaling is really important. Journaling can be like a self-therapy if you do it right. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope this was helpful. I'm going to start doing more long-form videos like this. All right, I'm signing off.
Sunlight.
Have a good day.
Sunlight is so important, you guys, and I'm living somewhere where right now there's not even an option to get sunlight. You got to stack up on the vitamin D. I think that's when I'm just going to break down and take the melatonin. I have 5 milligram melatonin tablets, and I break them in half and get like 2.5, because 5 milligrams of melatonin is actually a lot. You might have weird dreams and stuff, sleep paralysis. Yeah, once the sun comes out, I'm going to be doing hikes, and I'm going to be on the beach, like maybe meditating and doing breath work and stuff on the beach. And I think maybe when the sun comes out, I won't need the melatonin. But yeah, just taking a look at some of his other videos. Here we go. Semen retention, I'll never be the same again. Semen retention, I'll never have one night stands again. We watched that on stream. Semen retention, be celibate until you have a reason not to. Energy you get on semen retention is unreal. We watched that yesterday. Being a Chad will never make you happy. So he really starts to hone in and focus on semen retention. Hopefully I made that useful for this podcast. You know, a lot of people are going to recommend that other kind of stuff, and maybe that helped me like hash out some of my thoughts on the synthesis of spirituality with being a Christian. There's a lot to filter out, but I think there's something here, and this is kind of the beginning of visiting this topic. So we're eventually going to get to Mark the Messenger, who, you know, I've been up and down with on my channel, but we're going to get to him. Semen retention will change your life. Here's why. So first we got the 6 stages of semen retention, Fulati Fitness. Okay, we're normal playback speed here, so let's get it going.
So after 30 days, I should be levitating. By 60 days, have teleportation unlocked, obviously. And after I hit 90 days, I should be able to shoot laser beams from my eyes. Yeah, sounds about right to me.
Be warned. Opening the chakras is an intense experience, and once you begin this process, you cannot stop until all 7 are open. Are you ready?
Look, when it comes to semen retention, your road will not be all smooth and go straight forward, as each and every one of us will have our own personal ups and downs throughout this process. But as someone who's been
okay, so this is something that's going to need to be continually addressed through this video, but I think this is a very worthwhile pursuit that I'm going for on this channel. This guy's got Buddha. Okay, he's playing the anime clip from Airbender where they're talking about the chakras, opening the chakras. This is a dangerous direction, Reform Stoic. The thing is that, as I've already said, the Catholic Church tells you not to masturbate. The Catholic Church ultimately is telling you to do semen retention. Now, what I feel the Catholic Church's emphasis is don't do it. It's bad. And just don't do it. Whereas these guys' emphasis is that you are getting spiritual benefits from doing this. And what I'm trying to get at is that it's not going to be harmful or satanic or evil to understand that you are getting spiritual benefits from doing this. I don't want you to be a Buddhist. I don't want you to be a Hindu. And I don't want you to go too far with it. You know, I'm opening my third eye. I'm opening my chakras. But I do believe that there are spiritual benefits from doing this. And I think it's biblical. And this is probably what I'm going to be spending a lot of time focusing on in my studies moving forward. It's going to be one of the other things that I'm studying. So let's go ahead and let this guy speak.
On this journey for over 2.5 years now, I've come to realize that the practice of SR can be broken down into 6 key stages. So regardless of where you're at on your own streak, you most likely will or already have experienced the signs and symptoms of these 6 different stages. Starting it from the first one, the power up phase, which ranges from day 0 to day 30. Now this, my friends, is the start to your SR journey, as you've now become aware of this powerful practice and have experienced the long-term detriments of being addicted to the hub, chasing the box, and overall depleting yourself of this life force energy. So now you've decided to take the first step towards success. And what you can expect at this stage is the biggest energy boost that you'll ever experience in your life, as your mental and physical stamina will skyrocket to a whole nother level. Like I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna wake up rock hard and ready to run through a wall.
I am so ready.
Not to mention the boost you're also going to get when it comes to your focus and mental clarity, as the brain fog you've been having to deal with after years of releasing will slowly start to fade away, leading you to take this practice a bit more seriously as we dive in deeper into stage 2, the detox phase, ranging from day 30 to 90. Now at this point, you've enjoyed the initial benefits that we just discussed, but you've now been led down to question a lot of things. You see, growing up in the modern times we live in today, we as young men have been subtly but surely programmed to prioritize sex.
I just want to say, not that that little cartoon that he just showed was that sexy, but I look at some of these semen retention videos just when I'm looking for through the ones to choose, and they'll have thumbnails with like a girl's cleavage or something, and it'll say, "She's looking at you, bro," or they'll put like sexy women in the thumbnails of some of these retention videos, or throughout the video they'll show pictures of sexy women, and I'll be like, bro, that is like the dumbest thing you could ever do for these videos. Like, just don't even show any women at all in these videos, bro. It's so counterproductive.
At all times. I mean, it's what you've been told, heard, and seen all your life up until this point. So why start going against it now? Maybe the semen retention stuff is just all placebo. And maybe this Fulati Fitness guy is just a fraud. I mean, look at him, bro. This guy's gotta be capping. Come on now. And this, my friends, is your mind playing tricks on you, as it's now starting to crave its usual fix of that good old dopamine rush you get from releasing. But now with the clarity of mind, along with getting deeper into this topic of SR, you'll soon come to realize that nah, this is the right path and all this stuff just ain't placebo. Your mind has just been pervertedly
You see what he's doing, bro? You see that? Like, it's a cartoon. It's not that sexy. But I'm not going to lie, dude. I've cranked it to, like, cartoons before. Dude, I could probably crank it to that on the right day. Like, bro, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, don't do that, bro.
Step back from it all and resisted to succumbing to these urges, you're able to look back at how stupid you look stroking your schlong off to pixels on a screen or swiping your life away on these dating apps hoping to get a little action. And this in turn leads you to a big shift on how you start to view women, relationships, and intimacy in general, as the mind is now starting to purify and go through a detoxing state from all the junk you've been accustomed to consuming. This now leads us over to stage 3, aka the rewiring phase.
I mean, I can't even really remember the first 2 stages, bro. I feel like this guy's not really like doing that great of a job. The power up phase, the detox phase, the rewiring phase. Hopefully we can get through this. This is kind of an awkward podcast so far, guys. I just want to say that I think this is like the baby crawling phase of me helping introduce maybe onto the map. Maybe there's other guys out there who are Catholic, or I know there's like, this chosen one guys like Mark the Messenger. He's a Christian. There's these Christians out there who are talking about semen retention and talking about the benefits, but I want to kind of introduce onto the map these Catholic warriors. And, you're going to see it a little bit in like, Elliot Hulse, and maybe a guy like Noland Knows. Check him out. He's like this big dude who can like deadlift 800 pounds, who's a Catholic intellectual. Like Catholic intellectuals who are not afraid of spiritual elevation. Like, I am hundreds of days deep into semen retention, and not only am I not doing something that's bad, I'm doing something that's good, and it's giving me benefits. You guys, we're casting out demons in the name of Christ around here. Like, we are taking on principalities. Maybe some of us are dealing with like gang stalking, which is like a crossover of something that's maybe satanic and demonic, and also has to do with like the FBI and the CIA or deep state elements. Like, we are spiritual warriors here, okay? But we are also theologians who are studied in like the real system of Catholicism and doing things by the books. So I want to say around here that we're like the highest level of spiritual warriors, and that term spiritual is kind of dangerous. So I hope people kind of like have an appreciation for what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to do it better than like some of these channels, no offense. And like I've been pointing out for like the last couple of weeks, I feel like a lot of the best content on YouTube doesn't get the most views. Let's go.
From day 90 to day 150. And now this is where things might get a little shaky for you, brother, as we've now entered the realm of the forbidden flatline. Yes, I'm telling you, man, the flatline that you've probably heard when it comes to SR is as real as it gets. Now, there's no pinpoint or direct reason for this happening, but it seems to me that this is the stage where your mind and body start to repair and rewire back into its original default state. And just like when things start to slow down and freeze up a little bit when your computer goes over to reboot into a new software, so will the progress that you've made on SR come to a stalling point.
Yeah, so I've heard about this. Like, you get some initial, good feelings at the beginning, which I feel I've already been feeling, but it's still pretty hard. So there's like the power-up phase, the detox phase. Yeah, so you're going to hit a flat line where you think maybe you're not feeling any benefits anymore, or you're not feeling any like feelings of well-being anymore. And they're saying that's like the most important part to get through because your brain is starting to repair.
as you've essentially starved and killed off these overly burnt out dopamine centers by breaking free from these old habits. And this is exactly why I said that this is the point in your SR journey that will allow you to make it to the next level or break it and bring you back to the bottom, as many people can be led down to believe that the benefits have simply just plateaued and that this is the peak of the SR experience. And that, my friends, could not be further from the truth. It's just simply that your brain and body are going through a major shift right now, and as humans, change is uncomfortable for us since we're all wired to take the path of least resistance. So essentially, the flat line is your old self slipping away and holding on for dear life, hoping that you revert back to your old ways and remain in your comfort zone. And it's going to do everything in order to bring you back to the baseline it's been used to.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
But if you stay 10 toes down, remain solid on why you
10
started
toes
SR,
down.
and not fold under pressure when it comes to this awkward transitioning phase, you will soon unlock the doors to stage 4, which I like to call the activation phase, ranging from day 150 to 365. And now this is where the
150. I mean, these guys are going deep, bro. I'm finding guys who are going very deep. And just to be frank with you, like, some of them are nuts, dude, okay? Some of these people do this for the wrong reasons, and they're, like, Eastern, Hindu, or, like, metaphysical New Agers. I'm trying to lay some groundwork for a different kind of semen retention person. Like, you are a Catholic, you are well-versed in theology, you do things by the books, you watch people like Trent Horn and maybe Jay Dyer, even though he's Orthodox. I got no problem with Orthodox, bro. I feel like if Catholics and Orthodoxy could, like, work something out and, like, mend the church and undo the schism, man, something like that would be really cool. It's probably never going to happen. Yeah, I'm trying to lay some groundwork for a new kind of a path, guys. You know, I like Dragon Ball Z. I'm wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt. I know my faith, and you know, you can get testosterone boost. Some people say NoFap is like your body is on steroids. A lot of people say that you don't get any more testosterone boost after the first week, but we should consider, guys, that there's disinformation out there. Like, people are trying to, like, put you off of this path. Man, I can't believe 40 minutes has already gone by. Wow. This might be the longest podcast I've ever done. We're getting through it. This is important stuff.
real fun starts. So up until this point, you've been going through a deep cleansing process of the mind, body, and soul, while also harnessing and charging up your life force energy by finally retaining it. But now this is where we get into actually activating it through the art of sexual transmutation. Because previously you did not have the ability to tap into these levels since you didn't have enough energy built up yet, nor the mental capacity to really hone it in. But now, since your mind and body have come to settle back into this natural state that you should be operating at as a man, the true potential of this practice within its creative capabilities start to become revealed to you. By you now being able to access these higher states of consciousness and not think with your dick 24/7, this energy that has the power to create a whole nother human being can finally be expressed in its fullest light and not just be wasted on
chakras. And I kind of forgot what I was gonna say. What I wanted to say, guys, is that 150 days, wow, a lot of guys are out there. You're going to be like me the first couple of times I tried this. I still am only on day 5. Who knows how long I'll make it. You might fail after 3 days. You might fail after a week. And what I remember is you get really depressed and then you go crazy on cranking it. It's like, bro, don't get discouraged if you don't make it very far the first couple of tries. And what you want to try to do is get right back on the horse. You want to try to get right back out on the horse after you fall off. I think one of the things that's going to help me push through this is that I just got off of weed, and I can follow the blueprint from getting off of weed. And I feel like after you make it maybe 30 days, this is what some people have said, after you make it 30 days, you realize that you can keep going. You're going to deal with some temptation and some struggle, but you realize that you have self-control, and just, you take it day by day, guys. Every day is a struggle. Every day is spiritual warfare. And we can get through this, bro. I'm feeling pretty confident right now, but I'm going to need to watch myself get through 2 weeks for the first time. I'm going to probably make some videos checking in on this, like, every time I make some real ground. Like, 2 weeks is going to be big for me. That will be the first time I ever got that far.
Doing some form of artwork, or even just writing a book, you can now essentially access the true power of SR and use it as a form of super fuel to funnel towards any of these endeavors. And along with that, due to your dopamine levels now settling back into the normal states, you get an immense feeling of joy and satisfaction.
And I remember in the past feeling like, man, people say that you transmute this energy and be productive. I feel like I can't do anything other than sit around and be like, wow, I really want to masturbate. But guess what? Look at me right now making this podcast. I woke up too early today. I got out of bed at like 2:30. Now it's like 6 a.m. Man, I'm going to hang on to this schedule. That's a big tip that I have, guys, is go to bed early, wake up early. You might feel like it's impossible. Bro, I'm such a good example for all this stuff because I spent most of my life going to bed at like 4 a.m. and waking up probably like late, you know? I'm making big changes right now. It is absolutely possible. And I know that feeling of like, you don't know how to transmute it. You don't know how to be productive. I'm being productive right now, dude. I'm making this cool podcast. I don't know. I feel like this might be a love it or hate it podcast. Man, I feel like the time is just going by. But we're doing it. Hey, if this takes 3 hours, whatever. I got the whole day to upload this. It's going to take a while to upload, but we will definitely premiere this today. And you get cozy with this stuff, guys, because I am really going to like not beat you up if you can't quit weed, not beat you over the head if you can't get deep into semen retention, but you know, I'll be there saying, "Hey, I understand if you can't do it," but I'm not going to be like, "You know what? You're right. It's not really that important to quit weed. You know what? You're right. It's not really that important to do semen retention," because, like I said, I am not going in a New Age Hindu metaphysical direction, okay? The Catholic Church says nobody should smoke weed, okay? Pope Francis says that, and I feel like a lot of times he doesn't take a stand on things. Catholicism says do not smoke weed. It's sinful. It's demonic. Catholicism says do not masturbate. It could be a mortal sin. So I'm not going in a new direction here. I'm just going in the direction that I already have to go through. But it's like, hey, Catholics are like, don't masturbate. It's bad. It is bad. Don't masturbate. But can you feel good about not masturbating? To the point where it's like, you know, maybe you're not really becoming Naruto or Goku, but hey, if you want to pretend that you're becoming Naruto or Goku, maybe there's nothing wrong with that at all. And maybe practicing a little bit of mindfulness meditation, maybe even in the full lotus position, which I'll show you guys at some point. Not on the podcast, but, you know, another time. Maybe I'll make a video about it or something, and I'll do research, and I'll make a judgment call of whether or not it's okay for me to do that. It's strengthening your mind. You know, there's some overlap here, and I'm going to start diving into this. I think I've already explained that a number of times. Let's try to get through this video now.
Action when it comes to the process of creating, since your mind has now shifted gears and started to operate in a more delayed gratification mind state. No longer are you seeking huge floods of dopamine rushes when it comes to instantaneous forms of pleasure, as now quote unquote boring tasks actually start to entertain you, as the act in itself essentially becomes a reward for you versus the results, which allows you to tap into flow states effortlessly. And now as these effects start to compound and pile up on top of each other, the plate becomes set for you to enter stage 5, the acceleration phase, ranging from day 365 to day 730. And now if you've been keeping up on game with the Fulati Fitness gang, you probably have a good idea of what I'm referring to when it comes to this stage. Yes sir, I'm talking about the legendary amplifier effect, which I discussed at length and in detail in another video. But to keep it short and simple, this is where SR allows you to make changes and progress at whatever it is that you're trying to pursue at extreme speeds. Because now with this potent creative energy locked and aimed in on a certain target or goal, combined with the fact that you've elevated your mindset to stay in the moment, cut out the distractions, and eliminate the nonsense, you will now be propelled down the fast lane, my man. Things that seemingly took you a year to accomplish can now be done in 3 to 4 months due to the intensity and intent you now operate with. And look, I'm not saying things are going to be easy and all the roadblocks on your path will be eliminated, but what I am saying is that you've now streamlined your path to success, and obstacles in your way will be able to be broken through with way less effort. Come on, man, this is why I've said previously on this channel, when you retain your seed, you are playing life at a higher power level.
Power levels 8,000. How? Wait, it's
over 9.
I think the aesthetics of this video, for the most part, other than the chakras and stuff, I think this is really cool, dude. Like, I think becoming like a Dragon Ball Z character is awesome. And just giving some more of my thoughts on, you know, higher conscious, higher levels of being. Like, whoa, that sounds really Eastern, and that sounds maybe like demonic, Stoic. What are you talking about, dude? Compare yourself to somebody, no offense, in a rascal scooter, okay? I'm not going to go into detail what that means or what that implies, but I think, you know, somebody like rolling through Walmart in a rascal scooter to get into the line at McDonald's to order 400 chicken nuggets so they can go home and watch pornography all day and buy every new movie that comes out and go to the movie theaters all the time in the rascal scooter, constantly drinking Coca-Cola. Hey, by the way, there's nothing wrong with a little Sprite. Nothing wrong with one Sprite a day. Get that sugar. Get that carbs. High carb diet. I highly recommend it. Durian Rider. Check him out. High Carb Accelerator. Check him out. You know, eating garbage, watching pornography. Bro, when you get to a point where you just straight up don't masturbate anymore and like you're... one of the things I recommend you do is get this app, and don't beat yourself up with like being super consistent with this, because this is what monks do. Okay, monks recognize the divine office, the liturgy of hours. I got this divine office app, and it takes you through the liturgy of hours every day, and maybe try to like look up the times for the liturgy of hours so you can sync it up, because the idea is that like you're recognizing these prayers throughout the day with people all over the world. There's monks doing this in monasteries. Just staying locked in, like living a higher way of life. I don't think it's inaccurate to say that you are living with a higher consciousness. You are living at a higher level of life. And all of these metaphors where it's like you have this crazy high power level and you're like Goku and everybody else is like a bunch of plebs. Don't get too cocky or arrogant about it, but yeah, bro, like you're living on a different level, and that's okay. Try to guide people. I'm trying to like, you know, eventually, guys, some of you might be ready to have channels, and you might be ready to like, and I'd encourage it. And if you don't want to show your face or anything, you can type into a text-to-speech program and make videos with a text-to-speech bot talking. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Maybe spend like the $10 a month so you can get the nice AI voices. And I would encourage that, guys. If you're ready to step out and, you know, advice for some content, if you don't know what you could contribute, you could make a journal. You could do a nofap semen retention journal. Make a little bit of content, you know, every week or every day, even if you want to just kind of guide people through like the process you're going through and tell people how you feel about it. Maybe tell people your testimony of faith, like how you became a Christian. Just some ideas if you guys want to make channels. And you know, it might be a straight up YouTube poop channel that does not gather a lot of views, but you'll find a few people, you'll find a few stragglers. That's how my channel started out, and I could even shout your guys' channels out, bro. And if you wanted to make it Wolfgang themed, if you wanted to make it like, you know, related to like my channel, I would absolutely be cool with that. I'd even be honored. Dude, if we started like Wolfgang on the internet and we all kind of had the same clan going, I think that would be so sick, you guys. So just throwing that out there.
Now, as you progress on this path and your purpose becomes clearer and clearer to you by the day, you will eventually come to unlock the door to the final and sixth stage, the actualization phase, ranging from day 730 to beyond. Now, this, my friends, is where things get really interesting. So up until this point, you've got the initial power up, went through your detoxing phase, battled through and broke out of the flatline, learned to activate this energy through the art of transmutation, and funneled it to accelerate your progress in whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. So you're probably thinking, what's the next benefit, Ali? Do we start levitating now? And now the answer to that is yes, but in a whole different way. See, this is the point where you start to understand and actualize the true meaning of this practice. SR has now become the norm for you, and as you look back on the progress that you made throughout this process, you'll see that it wasn't about all these ecstatic benefits that everyone talks about, nor was it the end-all be-all and cure to all your problems in life. But what it was in its core essence was the solid foundation and anchor you needed to remain centered in life no matter what it threw at your way. Now, after reflecting upon that, you'll come to realize that this sounds very eerily familiar to a lot of religious and spiritual faiths benefits out there. So now is where you go down the rabbit hole of connecting the dots between SR and the divine. And even though you may have done some of this before this point in your SR journey, you haven't truly understood or felt this deep-rooted connection between the two until this stage. Hence the name I gave to it, calling it the actualization phase. As you start to piece the puzzle up together and start to uncover the secrets of what this practice of semen retention actually is.
Hey, yo, what the
Now I know this might sound wild as to some of you guys that are watching this, and rightfully so, because who am I to tell you that all this stuff is legit? At the end of the day, I'm just some guy with a camera making some YouTube videos. You shouldn't take every word I say to heart. So I guess the only way for you to know if this is true is to go down this path on your own and figure out by yourself.
Okay, I think we got a lot of use out of that, and it wasn't a bad video. I'll go ahead and give it a like. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I think I'm gonna go grab a Sprite, man. I think I'm gonna start carbing up. One thing I've noticed, guys, when I started getting more hydrated is I gotta go pee a lot more. And you might feel that it's like annoying, or maybe you'll have a job or your boss is like, hey, stop taking so many bathroom breaks. Bro, you just tell them like, hey, man, I gotta stay hydrated. I gotta be healthy. If y'all can't handle me being at my best, then this ain't the job for me, man. Some of these jobs out there are slave pits that want to bring you down, bro. You gotta pee. Don't stop peeing for anybody. Get used to it. If you're like annoyed, like, oh, I don't want to pee this much, don't worry about waking up in the middle of the night to go to pee. When I got my melatonin going, or when I have a nice sunny day under my belt, I just go right back to bed, baby. And that's why you got to go to bed early, man. Okay, here we go. Mark the messenger. Semen retention will change your life. Here's why. Let's go. Man, we're an hour deep now. We're going deep today.
Peace and blessings, guys. It's Mark the Messenger back on another video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. This one's going to be about how semen retention is a game changer. Semen retention will guarantee change your life. I'm going to go over a list of how it will change your life. Now, like I always say every time I make my whiteboard videos, none of this is in order. It's all just the top of the head. These are all a list of benefits that many people are unaware of that will happen on your journey. Number one thing I noticed on semen retention is you're more creative. You know, you're now transmitting. Now, you got to be transmitting that sexual energy. Okay, make that very clear. You got to be transmitting that sexual energy, and as you're transmitting it, you're more creative. Okay, one thing about me, I'm a content creator.
See, this guy's a real Christian, bro. Okay, I will say that I think Mark the Messenger is a real Christian. I'm a Catholic, you know, he's got problems with Catholics. I personally recommend that people should be Catholic, so I don't want to say I have problems with him, but transmuting the sexual energy, that's something that a lot of these guys say, and it's something that might sound like kind of goofy or you don't believe in, but I think in the past when I tried NoFap, I had trouble transmuting the sexual energy to where it's like I didn't feel more creative. I didn't feel more productive. Like I said earlier, I felt like I sat around trying to figure out how could I do anything other than sit around and think about trying not to masturbate. Well, I think I'm kind of figuring it out this time. I'm making this podcast, and it's just it's really difficult to describe. Maybe he'll have some insight here. It's like you have to learn how as soon as these sexual thoughts come up, you just learn to just kind of push it away and think of something else, but you don't want to push it down. You want to transmute it. You see how I don't know how to really describe it in any other way? I don't know how to break it down. Let's see if he has some advice here, because I feel like I'm figuring out how to do it, but I don't know how to teach it.
So I'm just creating all this content. I'm creating all this content. This is semen retention. Woo! Okay. I've created creative energy, bro. This is a real deal, man. And next up will be
oh, so that's it. I've created all this content. Woo! Yeah, I'm making a podcast right now. Woo! Let's go. Let's make a bunch of content. I'm telling you guys, I would encourage you to make videos on YouTube. If you don't want to show your face, talk off camera. If you don't even want to have your voice, use AI text-to-speech. Bro, there's so much great technology out there. Put clips and stuff, GIFs and whatever. Maybe some of you guys would know how to use the algorithm better than me. Maybe one of your channels will get better than mine, and you could shout me out, bro. I totally recommend that you guys put stuff on YouTube. You could film video games and talk over it. Tell stories from your childhood. Talk about how you became a Christian. Document a process of getting off weed. Do a journal. Bro, create something. If it doesn't want to be on YouTube, work out. That's pretty basic. But the options are like literally limitless, bro. So it's hard to explain how you transmute the energy, but I would just try one more time to say that you like wipe the memory away. It's almost like those transitions in iMovie where like the current thing you're watching slides across the screen and is replaced with something else. You keep that feeling. You don't judge the feeling. Okay, I feel a little bit anxious. I feel a little bit like uppity. Stay on your feet is a good idea. Be on your feet. Maybe watch videos or watch TV while you're walking around and transmute the energy, guys. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better way to explain it, but I'm figuring it out. Do something. Get moving. Live your life. Let's go.
Confidence. Okay, this is one thing that people lack. Many people try to find confidence through material possessions, through their success, which there's nothing wrong with that, nothing being confident that you reach your goals. But true confidence comes from within. True confidence comes from God. Okay? So this is what semen retention will do. And when you're practicing righteousness, which is semen retention, okay, or if you're married to nofap, you're gonna get your confidence is gonna increase. Okay? When you're watching the websites, guys, you're tapping into that feminine energy, which is gonna lack confidence. Okay, you see how females gotta put on makeup, they gotta put on all this artificial things to be confident. Us men, we just gotta retain our seed. We gotta retain our sexual energy. That's all we need, man. Okay, so next up would be, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I put stronger connection to God. One thing about me, some people might say it didn't make me get closer to God. Well, that's you. But for me, my experiences, I noticed that it was easier and I was able to hear the voice of God. Back when I was on semen retention for the first time, I didn't even know what that word was. And every time I would relapse through fornication.
Okay, so he says that he was able to hear the voice of God. Yeah. I don't know about that.
I would feel the conviction, and it's like God's like I'm more connected to God, because when I was watching the websites, playing with myself every day, I didn't see no wrong. But when I was retaining my seed, it was like I was becoming more spiritual, more connected to the Father, and it's a beautiful thing to be connected to God. Because I'm gonna go over on this video, but this is definitely one of the best benefits of semen retention. Make sure you're doing it. Semen retention to seek God's kingdom first and His righteousness. Semen retention.
I mean, as far as being more connected to God, I had a feeling today when I was listening to the liturgical office of the hours, listening to the prayers, playing with my cats. I just felt more innocent. Okay. And that's another thing. Like, you check in with these feelings of like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong right now. I'm not sinning, okay? It's impossible for you to get through your entire life without sinning. But sometimes people will use that like against their best efforts, It's like, oh, it's impossible not to sin, so I need to stop like trying not to sin. That's absolutely ridiculous, and that's where Orthodoxy and Catholicism really steps in and says, no, brother, you have to try not to sin. Like, if you're not trying not to sin, then you're blowing it. And I'm not saying that Protestants don't try not to sin or all other kinds of Christians don't try not to sin, but you should definitely do as much as you can, bro. And in these moments, when you are on semen retention and you're getting your streak up and you're doing positive things, just think, hey, you know what? Like, I'm being a good person right now. I'm not offending God. I'm not doing anything wrong. And I would consider that like a stronger connection to God.
Is practicing righteousness. Seek God's kingdom and things will be added into you. A lot of you guys, you might be saying, well, I don't know how to transmute that sexual energy to something creative. Or maybe you haven't found your purpose in life yet, which is perfectly fine. You could be young. Just continue seeking God's kingdom, and I'm telling you, in due time, you will find it. And it's going to be something that you never, I want to say, for everyone's different. For me, I never thought I'd be making videos. I never thought that my channel would have 20 something.
Just an idea for video content for you guys. Like, dude, if you like, I know a lot of you guys are wage slaving. Dude, if you have crappy jobs, or even if you don't, even if it's like a job that you don't always dislike, but you have bad days, there's totally people who just listen to you complain about your job or talk about your job. I mean, just another idea, bro. If like you're working a job that maybe you're not crazy about, or maybe you are crazy about, but if you're not crazy about it and you just want to complain about your job, dude, there's totally people who would listen to that. Like, if you work at fast food and you just want to complain about it, everybody would listen to that, dude.
thousands of subscribers. Never thought that. Okay, but God, he does things that you never could expect. So, doing things for God, he will bless you, will take you to new levels. And I'm always going to tell you this to the end of time, to seek God's kingdom first and his righteousness, so things will be added into you. Okay, so number 4, no more, no more simping, guys.
Real.
No more. I'm going to make this a thumbnail right here. Pause. All right. I'm going to make this a thumbnail. No more simping. No more simping. All that time you used to wonder why she's not texting you back. Chasing females. All that. I don't even want to think about it. This is an energy journey, bro. That's done the past. There's no way you're sipping on semen retention. There's no way. Your value is up. Your self-worth is up. Your self-love is up. People who are simping, these are people who don't love themselves, who don't respect themselves, who don't value themselves. Okay, you want semen retention, you retain your seed, which takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of strength, spiritual strength, to be retaining your seed. These simps, they lack that. They lack it. That's why they chase women.
The whole modern hookup culture, dating, you guys, it's all just a big spiritual trap, bro. You want to talk about spiritual traps? No, it's not like you're being tricked when you follow the light when you die. Like, no, the spiritual trap is basically everything having to do with women outside of a courtship that leads to marriage through church. Real. So when you're trying to do this to like, and look, the thing is, guys, is you might do semen retention and you might become more attractive to women, and it's like, oh man, I have an opportunity to like get laid or whatever. I'm not going to tell you to like not do it, okay? Because I might do it too, but we are spiritual warriors of Christ, and I think all of us could find a woman worth marriage, and we could all be great fathers someday. And it's like, keep your eyes on the prize, man. These Jezebels out there, like, that ain't it. And all of the like the ego pissing matches that you've ever had, like, oh dude, when's the last time you got laid? Bro, I got laid every single weekend. None of it matters. It's all an illusion. And just don't even feel bad about the past, you guys. Like, we're stumbling on the truth right now, all right? Let's get it.
All day, their life, their mind is nothing just about woman. Okay, on semen retention, your mind is on success, building up my kingdom. It's not about women, temporary females. So this is semen retention is the cure. I'll be the first one to say it. It's a cure for simping. Okay, it's no longer about females, and like I always tell you guys, whenever you don't focus on like females no more, it's like now you're the center of attention now. Now females are focusing on you. I don't know if that's spiritual or something like that. I don't know why it's like that, but focus on success, focus on building your kingdom, and let women gravitate towards you. Simping and chasing females, trying to buy females, buying OnlyFans, or saying them cash apps. You ain't gonna do that on semen retention. I'll tell you that. That's facts. Next one up. So before I go to number 5, I put clarity before I bring to number 5. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's just all the top. Like I said, all the top of the head. Clarity, having the mental clarity to understand what God's will in your life is, what you want to be doing. And you're no longer having that brain fog. I remember back when I was, watching the websites all the damn time, I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I didn't know, bro. Okay, once I got on semen retention, I want to say a couple months in, it's like things started to manifest. We're like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, I'm telling you guys, that clarity is one of the best benefits too as well. All right, number 5 will be self-love, self-value, self-worth. Like I told you guys, the simps, they're lacking that. There's no more simping on semen retention. You're gonna have this, and this is why females are gonna chase you. This is why females are gonna want to ask you for your number. Okay, I just did a constellation call with a brother. He told me he was at the gym, and a female went up to him and asked him for, for his number. And he told me he was on semen retention for a week. I told him this is a real deal. This is a real deal, man. All that simping stuff, women are tired of those simps.
I do not put any emphasis on that, bro. I put absolutely no emphasis. Let's just go ahead and do a mic check. Yeah, mic check. All right. I don't put any emphasis on the semen retention or on the women attention stuff, guys. Okay? If it happens, great. But don't act like it's not working if it doesn't, because that's just not what it's about, guys. Hookups, one-night stands, like, it doesn't matter. We already been over that. Let's keep going.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. There's a reason why women use those men. They drain those men because those men, they like that. They're cucks. Let's just keep it real. But once you go on semen retention, you're going to have that self-love, self-value, self-worth, and women's going to see that. People are going to see that, and they're going to want to gravitate towards you. They're going to want to hit you up. talk to you on the phone.
I mean, that guy, the first guy that we watched today, that's the guy who said that, you know, he had a one-night stand with this beautiful girl in his apartment and he regretted it. He said it was like 1,000 times worse than watching porn. So that's really high level, dude. Really high level is when you're Chad and you got women like who really want to be with you and you start to realize, bro, I'm going to be turning these women down. I'm trying to find the real deal. I don't want to have sex until I'm getting married and finding the love of my life. That's so high level, bros. I'm not even really on that level because women haven't really given a crap about me for a very long time. But I believe it, bros. I'm feeling positive lately, man. I'm loving myself lately. I'm even loving life lately. Getting up early, doing creative stuff, praying, gonna have a good workout later, and I'm not gonna like feel like I'm dying this time because I'm not gonna have my huge like 130 carb shake before I work out. So life is good, man. Start feeling good, bro.
I wanted to hang out with you. Okay, your energy is up, it's booming, and your energy is contagious. People want to be around that, man. People want to be around the light. On Semen Retention, you're stepping into your light and you're walking more into that path. Continue to retain. Anyone who's going through a flatline right now, anyone who's feeling weak, continue, bro. You're gonna reap the fruits of your labor. Just keep on going strong, keep on enduring to the end. Number 6, your energy goes through the roof. Woo! The energy goes to the roof. Woo! I mean, this is kind of big, simple, but also I'll add this too. Your testosterone goes up. And like I told you guys all the time, the higher your testosterone is, the better quality life you're gonna live. Okay, so Semen Retention definitely boosts your testosterone, boosts your energy, and that's definitely what's gonna be needed on your journey. Your energy, because you need energy to focus on your goals, to focus on God's kingdom, to focus on righteousness, to do that. Spiritually, you need energy. There's a reason why the Jezebel, the succubus, comes to drain you of your energy. There's a reason why she comes. So energy is very important. It's key to your journey, to the narrow path. You need to have energy, bro. And Semen Retention, no fat, will do that, man. It will definitely do that. So your energy goes through the roof. Remember, I told you guys, be stingy with your energy. Don't be giving so freely, because some people, guys, there's energy vampires out here, and they're just coming into your life to drain you. That's it. They might act nice in the beginning, but that's why the Bible says a test of spirits. So not everyone has your best intentions at heart. Number 7, as we all know it, is female attraction. We all know female attraction is real.
You know what, dude? And we don't even care. We don't even care about that, boys. Because I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to be like, oh, I hope a girl wants to sleep with me. It's just not. Who cares, dude? Doesn't matter.
Be connected to God. I wasn't doing that for that. I was just doing it for this. And honestly, to be honest, that's kind of simp energy. That's kind of beta male energy, doing things for a female.
Real.
Okay, so God instantly corrected me. And, I went back to the righteous path. I went back to doing it for God. I wasn't doing it for female attraction. But female attraction is real on Semen Retention. There's nothing wrong with telling men that they will experience that. And some men, they might even stop watching the websites to experience this. So that, and so it could be a good thing to teach men about female attraction. That's why I got me to stop watching the websites. Almost 4 years, haven't watched it since. This is right here, guys. I'll be honest with you, it was female attraction. Why would I watch the websites which is not real, wait for a temporary dopamine when I could get the real thing? And it was just programmed in my mind. And why would I watch another man have, intercourse with another female when I could be doing that? So this right here, guys, is a reason why I never watched. Now, of course, God gave me the strength, the spiritual strength, to break me free from the stronghold, to break me free from, having to watch those websites. Because I was watching that since I was, 13 years old, 12, 13 years old, till I was, 25, almost over 12 years. So, God definitely broke that stronghold. But also that female attraction played a big part in me never watching it. Almost 4 years, guys, ain't watching the websites. Next one up is immune system boost, or boosting your immune system. The reason why people might be, Mark, what do you mean? So your semen contains minerals, okay? When you're constantly relapsing your semen, you're losing your zinc. Zinc is known to boost your immune system. You're losing vitamins. You're losing all the protein, which is going to weaken your immune system, which is going to cause you to be more, get...
I'm not so sure about this one, but you know what? Whatever, dude. Let's just act like that's legit. Why not?
Get sick. So that's why it's very important to know that it boosts your immune system. Okay, so Semen Retention will definitely do that. Like I said, there's protein, there's vitamins, there's mineral in your seed. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. And when you're constantly letting it out, you could be more prone to a weaker immune system. So yes, that's true. I didn't even know this until like a couple months ago, and that is very true because zinc is known to boost your immune system. Vitamin D known to boost your immune system. Vitamin C, when you're releasing that seed for no reason, it's going to cause you to be more get sick. So next one up will be boldness. Okay, you're just more bold, bro. Like you could approach a female and you won't even care if she says yes or no. And if you get her number, you won't even care. I mean, you're just bold like a lion. You're roaring like a lion. Okay, so that's one thing I learned about semen retention. You're just more bold. Like you're not afraid to just conquer anything you want in life. And that's one of my. All these are my favorite benefits, but this is also I like the boldness that came with it. You're just more bold. You're more confident. Like I said, this is one thing that people are lacking in the masculinity crisis is confidence, and there's a lot of reasons why. And but yeah, that's one of the main reasons they're lacking it is because they're not retaining their seed. They don't know that. And next one up will be career focus, which is linked to clarity. So you're just more focused. You're not thinking about watching the websites every night. You're not thinking about a female. You're thinking about success, man. You're thinking about building God's kingdom up. You're thinking about righteousness. How can I live life for God? How can I be the best version of myself? How can I level up? That's what's going to be on your mind. You're going to be focused. You ain't focused. You ain't wasting your focus. You ain't wasting your energy on a female no more. Hell nah. For what? You realize that it took you 10 years for some of us. It took us 10 years to realize how much time we were wasting on females. How much time we were wasting being a damn simp, man. Straight up. How much time we're wasting. So because we learn from our errors, we learn from our mistakes, we're not focusing on our career. We're focusing on building up our kingdom. Building up, to focus on leveling up in life, becoming the best versions of ourselves. We're not focusing on females and just in general. Okay, we ain't focusing on them. Okay, so this is it, guys. The semen retention is a game changer. Hop on board if you haven't already. It will change your life. Okay, it will. Now, if you've only been on it for 3 weeks, well, Mark, I haven't got any female attraction yet. Mark, I haven't been experiencing these benefits. Well, continue to retain. I know we live
I just literally would not worry about the female attraction, guys. You're trying to find the real one. You're trying to find the real one. You're trying to get married and be fruitful and multiply, boys. This is not easy, okay? This is not easy. Y'all are witnessing me maybe on a come up right now, okay? Look, I could easily blow it in the next few days and then feel like crap and then maybe never get on it. But right now, I'm feeling like this is the real deal. Saying that kind of stuff doesn't even help. I recently got off of weed and I'm feeling like I'm on a roll. I'm getting my sleeping schedule turned around. I'm in pretty good shape right now. I'm on a diet. Feel free to ask me any questions, man, in my live streams, in my comments. Just if you want to know my full routine, everything, I'll probably do an updated video about that. And I want people to level up, dude. I want it to be kind of like Pay It Forward. If you've never seen that movie, just trying to spread good vibes and good momentums in the world, okay? I am someone who was a stoner for a lot of my life. I have been a coomer for a lot of my life. I have a huge porn collection that I still haven't deleted, okay? I'm moving it around, shifting it around my computer, getting it out of the way, getting it out of my sight, and those videos pop in my mind a little bit, and I just push it away, and I get up on my feet, and I go do stuff, and I stay active. You can do this. This is possible. Just know that I'm about as low as people can sink. I sank pretty low, okay? I'm the kind of guy who has been pretty low in my life, and this is possible. If you're not having any success, if you're having a hard time, don't worry about it. But I would lightly encourage you to keep trying.
A generation where people are, they're looking for instant gratification. If they're not getting it within 3 months or a year, they just give up. No, stay on the path. Because it's faith. It's fate why you watched this video. You made it this long. Stay on the path. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. If you get weary, if you get tired, if you want to feel like giving up, that's when you need to pray, bro. And this is why semen retention is a good thing. You get more connected to God. All right. I love you guys so much. Remember, this is the will of God for us to abstain from fornication. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I love you so much. I'm out. Peace.
I mean, you guys, I think if you're like me and you have an incredibly high sex drive, because, you know, for me, guys, it's pretty much at least once a day and more towards like twice a day. Like for most of my adult life, twice a day, sometimes more, okay? If you're like that and you start doing this, you will see benefits pretty quick. It will also be extremely difficult, but you'll start seeing benefits after like a week, all right? Let's keep going. 120 minutes in. Woo, boy, we're having an epic one today. Long-term semen retention advice. 100 days is crazy. Taylor Johnson, sexual mastery coach for men. Let's go.
Retaining your semen for 100 days is a huge deal. And if this is something you want to do, it's really important you understand that this is some serious energy you're working with, and you've got to treat it with great respect and great intentionality. And also, you've got to know that you're going against pretty much all mainstream medical advice. And I personally don't recommend this to 99% of people. And I don't like to do this either. And even still, I understand that some people want to do this. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 really important things that you need to keep in mind while you're on a long-term retention journey so you can stay balanced and healthy and thriving like the picture for this video. Point number 1, the physiological benefits of semen retention will peak and plateau around day 21, and they will stay the same after that. That means it's not a never-ending upward journey of benefits. The psychological benefits, however, could potentially keep going and increasing over time. So if you're somebody who needs to take a break from sex for a while, a break from porn for a while, a break from masturbation, and create new patterns and habits, then a longer-term retention journey could be good for you. And this could be a great opportunity to just give your system a reset so you can get back to baseline and build healthy habits. Which brings me to point number 2, is that even if you're not going to be sexual on a long-term retention journey, you need to understand and respect that your body is still a sexual body. You are still a sexual being, and your body's desire to procreate, to ejaculate, is still going to happen. So you can't just push this part of your body away and tuck it under a rug and think that it's not going to impact your life. This is why we see so many problems with priests and porn use. This is a real thing, because they just like push this away and they just pretend it doesn't exist, and it comes back to bite them. And so it can be okay to take a pause from this kind of stuff to come back to baseline. But at a certain point, if you're going to be sexual again in life, you need to develop a healthy relationship with your sexuality that you can use to thrive in addition to a powerful semen retention practice. Which brings me to point number 3, is that if you're going to retain for a long period of time, again, this is a huge deal, and you're going to need to approach it from a bunch of different angles. You're going to need to do somatic practices regularly, like yoga and qigong. You're going to need to do physical exercise regularly, like cardio, get your heart rate up regularly.
I'm going to avoid yoga, but qigong is something that I did in the past. Tai chi as well. Tai chi, qigong. I don't see any problem with doing that, bro. Especially outside on a nice day in the sun, just moving around a little bit, breathing. I think I'm gonna practice that again.
Regularly do some strength training. This will help you burn off the excess energy. There are 2 ways to deal with the buildup of energy and semen retention. One of them is to integrate it and transmute it into action into the world. The other is to blow off steam and let it out of your body in a means other than ejaculation. Exercise is an excellent way to do this. I also recommend coming up with an action plan that you can do if you get that urge to look at porn. And that action plan can be a 3-step or a 5-step process that you'll agree with yourself that you will do if that urge to ejaculate or look at porn comes up for you. For example, if I feel that hook, that urge to look at porn during the day, I have agreed with myself that I will immediately do 20 push-ups. And then if I still have that urge, I'll do 20 sit-ups, number 2. Number 3, if I still have that urge, I'll do 50 jumping jacks. And then I can do more and more and more. If I take the time to interrupt that urge, that stimulus in my body with physical exercise and movement, that almost always integrates it, and that urge fades away. So come up with a plan so it doesn't catch you off guard, because it is going to happen for you, I promise, especially on a long-term journey of semen retention. It can also be really useful to practice regular self-testicle massage and pelvic floor massage and even internal prostate massage, because you're going to build up fluid and tension in this area of your body throughout this practice, and you've got to stretch and you've got to open yourself and you got to
Whoa, internal prostate massage. Yikes. I mean, yeah, sure, dude, whatever floats your boat.
increase blood flow in that area to keep it healthy. Also very important to have a very clear why that you're doing this practice. Why do you want to retain for so long? Write this down. Put it up in your room somewhere. What is your mission? What is your drive? Why are you doing this? If you don't have a clear why, your practice isn't going to go very far. And I would recommend that you actually link this with some part of your spiritual life as well. These traditions where semen retention came from, they're not just little isolated, segmented traditions that are purely success focused. These are entirely comprehensive, integrative life traditions that incorporate spirituality and spiritual practice and happiness and joy and connection and community and good food and good exercise and good sleep into this whole picture. And also, it's very helpful to actually train with somebody who's done this before. So I recommend at least taking my free 7-day semen retention challenge. I will link to it beneath this video. Point number 4 is that it's important for you to cultivate community and joy during this time as well. One of the problems that a lot of guys get into when they go on a semen retention journey is they get into this produce, go mode, and they forget to take time to actually enjoy this gift of being alive that we've been given. And again, the traditions that semen retention came from, they're not these isolated little mechanical traditions that optimize success only. We're talking about your full life here, and your ability to experience joy and community is going to dramatically impact the quality of your entire life and your happiness and your ability to retain for a long period of time. So find something that you enjoy doing. Playing music, listening to music, dancing, going for hikes in nature, doing some sort of creative project, playing basketball with your friends, whatever it is, find some way that you get to use this buildup of energy for joy, to create more joy in your life. That is going to really help you out in the long term as well. And point number 5 is that it is as important to reduce stress and get good sleep as it is to retain your semen. Because if you don't do these things, your cortisol levels are going to spike, you're going to be stressed out, and you're not going to get all the benefits from this practice. And it's going to impact your ability to experience joy, connection, community, success, financial thriving, all of this stuff. Stress is the killer of so much. And yes, it's true.
All right, pretty straight down to business here. We got through this one quick.
Live in a stressful society, but there are things you can do to help with this. Daily meditation, yoga, doing a relaxation breathwork practice before sleep. Like, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. You just have to remember that this is an important category that you need to put energy and effort into to stay balanced on a long-term retention journey. And if you're curious about the timeline of benefits of not ejaculating for 30 days, check out this video right here. It's one of my most popular videos ever. I will see you there.
All right, cool. Moving on. Okay, guys, we're on our last 3 here. This one's quick. Based Elon Musk based. Let's just get some of his thoughts on this for like a minute.
Then a great deal of a massive amount of thinking, like truly stupendous amount of thinking has gone into sex without purpose, without procreation, which is actually quite a silly action in the absence of procreation. It's a bit silly. Well, so why are you doing it? Because it makes the limbic system happy. That's why. But it's pretty absurd, really.
Well, the whole of existence is pretty absurd in some kind of sense.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a lot of computation has gone into how can I do more of that with procreation not even being a factor. This is, I think, a very important area of research by NSFW.
An agency that should receive a lot of funding, especially after this conversation.
I propose the formation of a new agency.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, just a waste of time, man. Coon brain. So now I wanted to get the news' perspective. I've heard about like the news saying stuff like, oh, NoFap is radical and it leads to far-right views. So I found a little clip, Fox 26 Houston. Are there any benefits to semen retention? Let's see what we got there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and edit out that clip that we just saw, just to be safe.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. So what the hell is semen retention? Never heard of it until all of my female producers team explained it to all of the guys in our editorial meeting. I wasn't the only one. who never heard of it. We're told it's basically a nicer way of saying not busting a nut. Or, for the sophisticated crowd, the guy is not ejaculating. In 2022, rapper Joey Badass revealed he prefers to not ejaculate during sex. Why? He says he wants to, quote, preserve his life force. Sex expert Beth Libling is here joining us with some of the guys who stayed around.
Now that's kind of weird. If I was having sex, yeah, I'd be going all the way.
Around for the last segment. So Beth, explain it to us in basic terms for those who don't realize what it is.
So there is intentional withholding. You can actually, ejaculation is separate and distinct from orgasm for men. So with practice, you actually can orgasm without releasing any ejaculate if you want to. Otherwise, some people simply don't orgasm. They just control that. In tantra sex, for example, people might prolong their penetrative activity by withholding, refraining from orgasm until it could be hours or something. But then some people also...
All of that is weird. Everything she's talking about is weird, dude. Just semen retention. Yeah. If you're having sex, probably just have normal sex.
will have the benefit of orgasming without ejaculating, and that can help them keep their erection longer. So,
any health benefits to this? This guy said it. He saved his life force.
Right.
I don't know what the hell that means, but
so there's zero research, medical information that says that abstaining from ejaculation is healthy for men. In fact, there's actually the opposite, right? There is research, 32,000 men studied over 18 years, that show that frequent orgasms for men lead to a healthier prostate. And over the age of 40, prostate issues are the primary cause of health problems for men. So even the American Medical Association recommends 3 orgasms a week for men, and it's because of the prostate.
You know, if you're worried about that, guys, look up like prostate health and foods that are good for your prostate. My dad had some prostate issues. I know that, like, what is it? Grapefruit's good for your prostate. Grapefruit juice. Just do stuff that's healthy for your prostate, bro. Like, yeah, this is the devil. Of course, Fox doesn't want you to. They don't want you to do semen retention. They're trying to take the keys away, bro. Don't listen to it. Yeah, ooh, science. Science says don't do it. Yeah, whatever, bro. God says to do it.
Health.
All right, let's bring the guys in. So, any of you guys practice retention at all?
Well, not intentionally.
That I hear from married men all the time.
Isaiah, you know I'm an employment lawyer. And so when your producer called me and wanted me to be part of the semen retention, I thought she was talking about oil field workers and keeping them employed. But I get it now.
Yeah, I happen to agree with Joey Badass. You know, I'm 41 years old, and the reason I look this young is because I have 3 generations stuck inside my balls right now. So, I think it's the key.
They're screaming, let me out.
This is Fox 26? Man, this is pretty, like, talking about balls and busting nuts. Dude, this is pretty, like, off the chain for Fox.
Me out.
I believe in semen retention. You know? You have to control it, and I think that it gives me more life in the gym. You know, I can hit a few extra reps on the bench. So, you know, I like to manage it. And
I heard that Mike Tyson practiced retention, and he lasted 7 years. He lasted 7 years, guys. Mike Tyson. And that's one of my boys. That's one of the guys that I'm trying to emulate in my training. So, something to think about.
And, you know, this is, we're talking about grade A, quality, revolutionary melanin magic that's in here, man.
So Beth, your thoughts on that? Do you think there is any benefit, or that may be in his mind? Not to say you, but
right. So I think there is a difference. We spoke just briefly before, and you said maybe a couple of weeks that you would do. Yeah. So I think certainly there are all sorts of men who are into submissive stuff that will go several weeks without an orgasm because their partner doesn't allow. So I think short term that maybe there can be some, and certainly if you believe it, then it's much more likely that you'll have some benefits. But longer term, I think it's probably more detrimental.
And what happens, guys, is that all these weak-willed guys out there, they want to crank it, all right? They want to hear this. It's like, yeah, it's not good for you. Oh, my gosh, prostate health. All right, well, I'm going to go back to my Coomer world. They want to hear this, bro. Like, this is upstream. This is the spiritual warriors who swim upstream, okay, and go against the grain. So, yeah.
Even way back when, 1939 or so, the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he researched the most successful billionaires at the time, and what he found was that bricklayers who were having happy, healthy, regular sex actually laid twice as many bricks in a day as a bricklayer who wasn't having sex, which is really interesting. And again, that was way back when.
Dude, you know, honestly, guys, when you get to a certain level of realizing that science, you know, this stuff just doesn't faze me, bro. And, you know, oh, the bricklayers laid twice as many bricks. Like, bro, I think everybody here is higher level than that. Let's just move on.
A few weights if you hey, let's bring in Todd to this conversation. Your thoughts, Todd?
I mean, I had never heard of it either, but like Alfonso said, not on purpose. But from a spiritual standpoint, you know what I mean? Some people might want to retain from sex to grow closer to the Lord, maybe get to know their partner a little bit better, not in a physical way.
I mean, all these people are talking about refraining from sex, and I guess that's ultimately the difference between semen retention and nofap. I guess I was speaking of somewhere in between. I mean, you're going to be at a different level. Like, a lot of guys around here, we haven't had a lot of luck with the ladies, bro. Maybe I should just speak for myself. But, yeah, it's like, if you're in a place where the only nut busting you're having is masturbation, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I mean, when you're Chad and, like, you got all these women calling you up all the time, well, that's the next level, you know? And it's like, I'm going to leave it up to you, bro. I mean, because I showed you that guy the other day, the first video we watched today. He doesn't want to have one-night stands. He's trying to do semen retention indefinitely until he gets married. And that's a spiritual warrior life, bro. So a lot of people out there are going to try to tell you, oh, you know, it's actually, like, good for you because I'm a science. Like, it's good for you to have sex, but it's not good for you to masturbate. I'm going by what the Bible says, bro. Bible says all sex outside of marriage is fornication, and fornication is a sin. Deal with it, brother.
Other than that, you know what I mean? I can't necessarily see the reasoning. You know what I mean? I want to protect my prostate. You know what I mean? I don't want to have prostate cancer. But I mean, from a serious note, from a spiritual standpoint, I've always been taught that to abstain from it as long as possible will bring you closer to the Lord, bring you closer to your partner. So in that realm, I would do it, but not necessarily for any kind of health benefits.
Well, my response to that, so I believe some sort of divine and whatever. I believe our body is an amazing gift from the divine. And if you think we are so incredibly well designed that truly the prostate is there, it is the source of irritation and stuff, but when it's healthy, then it also gives so much pleasure to men. So to me, to think about life and to think about our body as a gift from the divine, our God, Lord, whatever you call it, whatever you believe, to use it well, to use it respectfully. So I'm not talking about wasting things. I'm not talking about obsessing about it. I don't think that's healthy in any form.
30 seconds left.
Can we say balls?
Yeah, well, I'm about what God says, sweetie. I'm about what the Bible says, not you. So, yeah, your opinion kind of, woo, Kobe, goes in the garbage. Shaq, sorry. Rip Kobe.
Okay, good. So we've got two balls, right? One is for semen, the other one is for urine, right? So I'm not going to do urine. Am I wrong about that?
You're totally wrong about that.
Okay, well,
yes,
see, I'm a scientist on TV only.
Right. So this is the important part. So, yes, everything, the fluid comes from the testes, which are in the balls, and the prostate is separate than the balls. That's separate, the testicles and then the prostate. So
in the proverbial sense, more like, you know, I'm not going to like retain my pee because it's organic matter that might help me if I keep it in there.
Well, I actually, you know, I have some data. So less than 2% of the sperm in sperm banks come from black men. So this is literally one of the most valuable substances on earth right now that I'm retaining in my balls. So
no, but it doesn't stay there. It gets absorbed by the body if it's not used.
I think I've heard balls one too many times.
Okay, so Science Woman says it gets absorbed by the body if it's not used. Well, maybe now we're going towards some of that Mark the Messenger, keeping that zinc, keeping that protein. Maybe there really is something to that. Science woman says it's absorbed into the body. Oh, really? So if you're ejaculating in it, it's not absorbed into the body. Zinc hype.
We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Beth. We'll be back.
Okay, guys. Well, I was worried for a minute there we were going to go for like 3 hours today or something, but not too bad. We're at the 140-minute mark. This is the last video. Catholic answers. I've confessed to this 1,000 times, so we're going to wrap it up with a Catholic perspective on this, just in masturbation in general. Here we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah, I guess I need some help. I agree with everything you're saying. When I was younger, I used to always, my friends were watching that stuff at the age of 12 and 13 and 14. They tried to get me to watch it, and I wouldn't do it. I'd turn away. I'd say it's wrong. But when I was about 15, I still remember the first porn I saw on my friend's TV. And ever since then, I'm 31 now. I've been, addicted, and I'm married. I have children. I've seen priests on this. I am deathly afraid of going to hell because of this addiction that I have, because I confess this sin every time I go to confession. But God knows that in my heart, I'm afraid of confessing it anymore because I'm going to do it again.
Oh,
Daniel,
brother.
what a great call, my brother.
Thank you for your honesty. Okay, look, first of all, this notion, and it's a temptation for many of us to think, look, I keep confessing this thing. And even when I go to confess it, there's something in the back of my mind that says, I'm likely to fall again, Well, there's a couple of things we can say here. First, in order to have the contrition needed for absolution, we don't need to twist our mind into such a way that we are convinced that we will never fall again. We can confess that we have fallen to something, and so long as our will desires never to fall to it again, even though we may recognize that we likely will fall to it again, it's still a valid confession and you are forgiven. Now, there's a beautiful passage in the scripture where Peter comes to our Lord and he says, how many times should I forgive my brother if he sins against me? 7 times? And Jesus says, not 7 times, but 70 times 7, which, of course, denotes perfection, right? Consistency. I reminded myself of this scripture verse one day when I was going to confession to confess the same thing I'd confessed for the last, 20 years of my life. And I was reminded of that when I was beginning to feel fearful that maybe the Lord's mercy would somehow begin to evaporate. And that's this. Now, Jesus is commanding Peter to act in a way with his forgiveness that's consistent and perfect. Now, if God's nature was not like that, consistent and perfect in the way he forgives, then Jesus Christ would be commanding Peter to act in a way that is inconsistent with the nature of God. In other words, he would have been commanding Peter to sin, and that's not possible. You cannot attribute to a divine and eternal being a finite attribute, all right? So God's mercy is unlimited. So don't be afraid of that. Let me read you a quote from my favorite quote from St. Claude de la Colomière, who said this, quote, and he's talking to God. He says, I glorify you in making known how good you are towards sinners, that your mercy triumphs over all malice, that nothing can destroy it, that no matter how many times or how shamefully we fall, or how criminally, a sinner need never be driven to despair of your pardon. It's in vain that your enemy and mine, the devil, sets new traps for me every day. He will make me lose all else before the hope I have in your mercy. So I'd give you 3 things, I think, to go off here. The first one is to know the battlefield, Daniel. Know where you're likely to fall and be vigilant in those times. Second, I want to highly encourage you and all of our listeners to subscribe to Covenant Eyes, which is an accountability software. It's not a filter. It doesn't block what you shouldn't see. It's accountability software. So
I'm just not into this Covenant Eyes thing, dude. It looks at it like it's basically like spyware or something that looks at everything you look at. Bro, just get the self-control. I mean, hey, you know what? If that's the kind of thing you're into, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, I need the self-control. I'm not going to use a website blocker because if I really want to look at the websites, I'll just disable the blocker. That is just not how I think. That is just not how it works for me. For me, I developed the self-control. I'm not going to have people looking at what websites I go to. That's just not how it works for me, dude.
Download this, you add an accountability partner, such as perhaps your wife or your best friend or your priest or your grandmother. And if you go to any sketchy website,
your wife, like, and is this not how it always, like, bro, so many Catholic, like, websites and videos and YouTube, it's always like your wife, you're married. What about single men, bro? I mean, we're talking about masturbation, and I don't know, man. Is it just me? Am I the only one who notices that? Like, what about single men? Because I feel like I can't relate, you know? Like, you're married and you're masturbating? Wow, that's a life that I can't really picture, but yeah, all right.
They get an alert saying that you've been there, and then you're going to have a very awkward conversation with your grandma. So covenanteyes.org. If you type in Pure in Heart, you'll get a month free trial, Pure in Heart. Hope that's a help.
Daniel, does that help, sir?
Yes, very good.
Great. One thing I've heard Jason Everett say is that there's no dishonor in a soldier falling.
Yeah.
The issue is the soldier's willingness to get back in the fight.
That's
Great
right.
question. We're going to get to as many of you as we can. As I predicted, we've got a lot of callers on the line. Wanted to speak with Matt Fradd on the false intimacy of pornography.
Really interesting place to leave things, guys, you know? Yeah, I don't even... Not really entirely sure what to say there. Just like, oh, just sign up for Covenant Eyes. And yeah, get back in the fight, stay in the fight. But, bro, like, there's benefits. There's benefits to doing this. And I guess the last thing I'll say is I wouldn't obsess over NoFap semen retention content. You're going to want to get your mind in other places. You're going to want to be focusing on other things, guys. You're going to want to be living your life and going through your day and keep things moving. Keep things moving, bro. I got to get up off the couch and move around. There's been a lot of thinking about this for me. But, hey, you know what? That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be watching it with you later. And I'll be getting all kinds of stuff done, doing dishes and working out while I'm watching this with you guys. So God bless. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you next time. Reform Stoic out. God bless.